Attachments and Addictions, a Salesian Perspective. Today, we reflect on a topic that touches both our personal lives and our wider human experience, attachments and addictions. St. Francis de Sales offers profound insights to help us understand and overcome these challenges, especially in today's world. Attachments and addictions can block our path to holiness and inner peace, either subtly or overtly. So it is essential to explore these concepts through the lens of Salesian spirituality, finding practical ways to live a life of freedom, devotion, and love. The first point for our reflection today is understanding attachments and addictions. Let us first define attachments and addictions in the context of Salesian spirituality. Defining attachments. Attachments refer to emotional and psychological bonds we form with people, things, ideas, or experiences that we think are vital for our happiness, security, or self-worth. While healthy attachments like love for family and friends are natural, they can become problematic when they become disordered. A disordered attachment happens when we place undue importance on these bonds, elevating them above our relationship with God and our commitment to a virtuous life. Defining addictions. Addictions are a more intense form of attachment. They involve compulsive behaviors or reliance on substances despite their harmful consequences. Addictions can take many forms, from substance abuse, gambling, and pornography to excessive internet use or workaholism. These behaviors often create physical or psychological dependency, making it very hard for the person to break free. The common root, disordered love. At the heart of both attachments and addictions is a disordered or misplaced love. According to St. Francis de Sales, love is the driving force behind our actions, but it must be properly ordered with God as the primary focus of our affection. When we seek fulfillment from other sources, we risk developing attachments and addictions that lead us away from our true purpose. The illusion of control. Attachments and addictions offer an illusion of control. In our anxious world, we sometimes cling to external things to feel secure. However, this sense of control is fleeting and deceptive. In truth, attachments and addictions can enslave us, stealing our freedom and inner peace. Second point for reflection, a Salesian perspective on attachments and addictions. Salesian spirituality offers guidance for overcoming attachments and addictions. The primacy of divine love. St. Francis de Sales teaches us that the key to overcoming attachments and addictions is deepening our love for God. When God becomes the priority, everything else falls into its proper place. Our relationship with God becomes our guiding compass, helping us to view material things, social status, and even human relationships in a healthy light. Self-knowledge and humility. Salesian spirituality emphasizes the importance of knowing ourselves. St. Francis de Sales encourages self-examination to uncover our weaknesses, including any disordered attachments. This requires humility, the virtue that allows us to see both our strengths and our limitations. Self-awareness is crucial in avoiding situations that may lead to temptation. Detachment and renunciation. Detachment, a core aspect of Salesian spirituality, does not mean rejecting earthly joys but rather developing an indifference to non-essential things. We should be ready to give up anything that blocks our relationship with God or hinders our pursuit of virtue. By fostering detachment, we can experience the freedom of living for what truly matters. The practice of virtue. Virtue is another key practice. St. Francis de Sales believed that living a virtuous life helps us control our passions and desires, making it easier to resist temptations. By cultivating virtues such as temperance, chastity, and humility, we reduce the hold that attachments and addictions have over us. The importance of spiritual direction. Spiritual direction was highly valued by St. Francis de Sales. A good spiritual director provides guidance, support, and accountability in our journey toward holiness. They can help us identify blind spots, develop strategies for overcoming temptation, and deepen our relationship with God. Finding God in the present moment. Finally, Salesian spirituality invites us to seek God in the present moment. By being mindful of the present, appreciating the beauty around us, and serving our neighbors, we focus less on our desires and more on God's presence. This practice reduces the power of attachments and addictions in our lives. Practical strategies for overcoming attachments and addictions. Now let us consider some practical strategies for overcoming attachments and addictions. First of all, identify and acknowledge. The first step is self-awareness. Take time for honest self-reflection, asking questions such as, what are the things I cling to? What behaviors do I use to cope with stress? What are the sources of my self-worth? Identifying these can help us to take control. Secondly, cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful tool. St. Francis de Sales teaches that when we thank God for our blessings, we become less focused on what we lack. By regularly practicing gratitude, we can shift our mindset away from cravings and desires, allowing us to appreciate the beauty of life as it is. Thirdly, practice mindfulness. Mindfulness, becoming aware of our thoughts, emotions, and reactions without judgment, helps us recognize triggers for our attachments and addictions. By acknowledging these triggers, we gain the power to manage them more effectively. Fourthly, seek support. Overcoming attachments and addictions is not a solitary endeavor. Seek support from friends, family, or spiritual advisors. Communities like Alcoholic Anonymous or similar groups can provide valuable encouragement and accountability. Fifthly, engage in healthy activities. Finding joy and fulfillment in healthy activities, whether exercise, hobbies, or service, can distract us from unhealthy cravings. Engage in activities that nourish your mind, body, and soul while fostering connection with others. Embrace sacraments. The sacraments, especially the Eucharist and reconciliation, provide grace and strength for our struggles. The Eucharist unites us with Christ, giving us the resolve to pursue virtue, while reconciliation offers healing from past mistakes and a fresh start. The fourth point for our reflection today is living a life of freedom and devotion. Through the wisdom of Salesian spirituality, we can break free from the bondage of attachments and addictions. Freedom from bondage. True freedom lies not in indulging our desires, but in living authentically, free to love God and neighbor without the chains of addiction. This freedom allows us to pursue our calling with joy and enthusiasm. Devotion to God. Finally, the goal is deep, transformative devotion to God. A love that drives us serve others, seek justice, and work toward a more compassionate world filled with God's presence. In conclusion, attachments and addictions are formidable challenges. But through the teachings of St. Francis de Sales, we can overcome these obstacles and live lives of freedom, love, and devotion. May we all be inspired to pursue holiness in our daily lives, striving to create a community rooted in God's love and support one another. Live Jesus.